I recently started a brand new YouTube channel, and while technically it is all about firearms and gear and accessories, what's been interesting are the comments that I'm getting. Now, I expected a lot of comments about like the different types of optics or strategies or thought processes or training, but I'm also getting a lot of questions from dads, a lot of guys with jobs, kids, responsibilities. They're thinking more about just the gear. They're thinking about how to provide. They're thinking about freedom. They're thinking about how to actually be there for their family more. And I get it, because 8 or 9 years ago, that was me. I was looking at my job, looking at the direction that life was heading, and I was starting to realize a couple of things. One was that I did not want to spend the rest of my life building someone else's dream. And the second thing was that I could see this job, this position, potentially moving into like a director's role, traveling more, working longer hours. This was going to take me away from being with my kids. And it was something that I didn't want my kids to have to experience, because I know what that's like to be able to see an extremely hardworking parent that is almost completely consumed with their job. Hayley and I went through similar experiences. We basically agreed that we wanted to say, hey, we want to be there for our kids as much as possible. We do not want them to have basically like whatever energy is left over at the end of the day. We wanted more control. We wanted more margin. We wanted more time at home. And I get it. It sounds cheesy and like that fake internet guru sense, like, Lambo private jets kind of feeling. And I don't want it to come off that way. I think a lot of dads are feeling that that is what it looks like to try to make money on the internet or to try to build something yourself. They don't want to become some type of like cringe influencer or plug different ads or sponsorships. They're introverts and not extroverts. There's a lot that I've talked to them about. And basically, I want to make this video to show you guys what I would do if I had to start over today to be able to replace my 9-to-5 income, basically based on everything that I've learned over the past 10 years. If we haven't met yet, real quick, I got to do the intro. My name is Doug. On this channel, I like to be able to talk about what it means to be able to protect and provide for your family, how to be able to be there financially, physically, and spiritually. And honestly, I think that's why this topic is going to work out, hopefully, for a lot of you guys, because once you become a dad, and you can be a parent, I get it in general, but I'm just a dad. That's my perspective of how I talk. You start to realize that providing and protecting is not just about like putting, food on the table and having money and then carrying a gun or something like that. It's really about how you've set up your entire life to lead you in a way that actually lets you be there for the people that you're responsible for. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to hit subscribe, like the video if you like it, and as always, leave your thoughts or comments or questions down in the comment section below, and let's go ahead and jump into the video. Now, I want to explain why this topic actually matters to me, okay? Because this did not start off as some kind of like exciting business idea that we had. I'm not innately entrepreneurial. It's nothing like that. But basically, it looked like on paper, I was living the life, right? I had a good job, stable paycheck, benefits, all the normal like adulting responsibilities. But the deeper that I got into being a husband and soon to be father, and I'm going to kind of like mesh the timelines together because my oldest is almost 9 now, and that's like forever ago. But I started to realize that, there's a difference between providing but then building the life that I want for my family. And what kept bothering me was that it's not even just about the money. I was making 6 figures. A lot of people make a lot of money and they're still unhappy. I heard a report or research or somewhere that like money stops mattering once you get to a certain number. And I think the number is something crazy like $650,000, which I completely understand is like the 0.01% or whatever what people make in the world. We can all agree that it's not just money that leads to happiness. Money can help fix things. But at the end of the day, you can make money, you can spend money. But there's only one thing that you never get back, and that's time. I was starting to realize how little of my actual energy and time was left for my wife and my daughter. It was that feeling that the best part of my day, when I had the most energy and when I was the most ready to go, the first thing I thought about when I woke up was going to my employer and was going to my job. And once you notice that, and once you realize that you're spending more time at an office or talking to other people that are not your family, it's hard to kind of unsee that. It's a very normal realization that you have when you have a child and you're starting to build a family. At least for me, I wanted to be there with them more, and I wanted more control over my life. And I didn't want to wake up 10, 20, or 30 years later, wondering where all the time went. Before I get into what I'd actually do and what my strategy actually looks like, I need to address what a lot of guys are talking about right now. And I've literally had Zoom conversations with a lot of guys. And this is the thing that seems to be the biggest barrier to entry to wanting to build a life of freedom and doing whatever it is that you want with your life. Whether that's traveling or spending more time with your family or buying all the guns in the world, whatever it is that you want to do, right? The problem is that the online business world seems just unbelievably scammy and scummy and used car salesy. I get it and I agree. Because there's a lot of people that are out there that are selling the dream, and you see things like rented cars, fake airplanes, fake urgency, weird loops about people selling courses that they don't even know what the courses do, Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, uplines, downlines. Like it starts to get unbelievably like have you ever been pitched to join an MLM? We've been physically pitched to join MLMs at the park. You could just see it coming and you just know what's happening. You could tell by the weird uncanny smile that these people have that they are just talking to you to try to get you to buy something that they may or may not actually believe in. And so that is kind of what happens on the internet when you see a lot of these people talking about what they're doing. I can completely understand why a normal guy sees that and thinks, yeah, I'd rather not, Doug. I'm out. I'd rather just keep my job than become something like that or pitch something that I don't want to or do some kind of MLM thing. But this is the difference. Okay. And I hate to try to just claim oh, I'm different. But I've spent the last 10 years with Hayley working on a real business, real content, real products, real customers, real results, actual people, actual families that we've impacted. And it looks nothing like the weird clown show version of online business that people make fun of and that they think about with the guys shooting cash out of their gold guns. We were literally just solving problems, real problems for real people and doing it consistently. That's it. Not every single online business opportunity is legit, okay? A lot of what you guys see out there is garbage and is only going to work for 1% of people. But I also think that if you were to just throw the entire thing out because of some bad apples or the way that it looks, you might end up ignoring one of the best opportunities that normal dads have to be able to build an income in a way that actually gives them more freedom. Okay, so what I'm laying out here is not how to become an influencer. I am an introvert. I am not an extrovert. I don't like being called an influencer. Okay, I just want to be able to make videos on the stuff that I know and hopefully impact people and give them value. This is my business principle, right? It's how I want to be able to build something that's useful and honest and practical. So I have to get all this out of the way because in the very beginning, whenever I talk to guys and we either DM or like I said, jump on calls or whatever it might be, they're always just who really does this anymore, Doug? Who really makes YouTube content or sells courses or does coaching or does these things? Isn't it all just a scam? And I'm not even kidding you. These are the actual things that people say. The online business space has a massive credibility problem, and I know it. So with that being said, let me walk you through what actually works, what I would actually do, and what I actually recommend to people if they want to basically make money on their own and build an actual business. Okay. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to figure out what your freedom number is. And this is something that Hayley actually coined a while ago. And basically, this is the number that we're going to be working towards to be able to build an actual life of freedom. I'm going to use that term just because of what comes out of my mouth. I'm sorry. It sounds very cringy, but it is true. You do get a life of freedom. Okay. So we need to get painfully clear on what you want. And when I say painfully clear, because just like me, a lot of guys tend to stay vague. We want more freedom. We want more flexibility. We just want to be at home with our kids. It might be nice to work for myself someday, which is cool. But when you're that vague, it's kind of useless. You cannot build an actual plan on vague feelings. So you have to sit down with your wife and figure out two things. The first thing is that what does your ideal normal life actually look like? Okay, not like fantasy land and not oh, I wish I had 10 240s or I had an entire gun wall full of everything that I ever wanted or anything like that. Not some just random stuff to where you're sitting there and actually just trying to dismiss the idea of ever doing this because you don't think it's real. I want you to be able to write out what an actual week looks like. Okay, when are you working? When are you not working? What are you working on? What are you not working on? How much time are you spending with the kids? Where are you working? What kind of work is it? Are you taking the kids out? Are you living somewhere that you want? How much margin do you actually want? You need to have a clear picture and a clear idea on what this lifestyle looks like, because with the second part, what we're going to do is we need to develop or build the number that makes that idea possible. Okay, this is not like the someday rich number. This is the number where you can actually sit down and look at your wife and say, okay, this is an actual goal that we're going to put down. This is our actual freedom number. And this determines basically what kind of niche, what kind of product, what kind of content, how much you're going to be working, how fast you want this to be able to happen, how big the opportunity really needs to be in order to create that ideal life that you were talking about. So if you skip this step, if you skip creating the freedom number, you can basically just spend years trying to work on something that will never actually get your family to where you think you need to go. So the second step is I want you to basically pick a niche based on what it is that you already know. Now, I think that dads are actually the secret hard hitters of YouTube. Us dads, guys, we have a bigger advantage than a lot of people think about. We know a ton of useless random stuff. We have, for some reason, spent years learning everything. My wife, Hayley, is constantly asking me, how do you know these things? I don't know. I can't explain it. That is just the role of a man. That is just the role of a dad, is to know a ton of random information. Okay. We've spent years learning through things like hobbies or work or side interests, trial and error. We've learned about, it could be shooting, it could be fitness, mechanics, budgeting, gardening, hunting, sports, woodworking, smoking meat, fixing things around the house, prepping. Like it could be the most random of stuff. Okay. And most guys don't think about all of this random knowledge as something that's valuable, because to us, it's normal. We just know these things. Okay. There's actually thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people that are out there searching for beginner help in different areas every single day. And so us as dads have a unique opportunity to be able to lean in on that random information that we have as a business opportunity. Okay, you do not need to be the most advanced guy on earth. You just actually need to be a few steps ahead of somebody who's trying to get started. That's it, I promise. I mean, look at my firearms channel, for example. I'm not military, I'm not law enforcement, I'm not tier 1 operator. I haven't been shooting since I was 2. I'm just a regular guy who got into this stuff. I wanted to be able to protect my family. I learned through experience. I made mistakes. I bought stuff I shouldn't have bought. And now I can explain to new dads or new people who are into the CCW process how it works. And this turns out to be just helpful enough for people to want to be able to jump on board with my mission. They want to jump on board with the movement, and I'm building a brand that's all about that. Now, with this being said, you have to be somewhat practical. Okay, not every single niche has the same virality or earning potential. Some audiences are very passionate, but they don't actually buy things, right? And some are easier to monetize than others. So before you commit to a specific hobby or niche or random, side quests that you've been on, you need to look at what other people are actually doing in that niche. Okay, what are they selling? What products exist? What problems are they trying to solve? What kind of offers seem to work? Because I wish this could be just talking about something that's interesting, but you really need to be able to find something that's more useful, right? Like your love for anime and weebness, like not everybody turns into, trash taste or something like that, right? Not everybody gets to become the anime man or something like that. You need to find something that's more practical, because at the end of the day, you're going to be supporting your family doing this, and you don't want to take a huge full court shot. I'd rather take more of a half court shot at what it is that I'm trying to do that's having to do with quitting my job. So at the end of the day, you need to pick and choose a niche that can realistically support your freedom number. So I want you to go onto YouTube and I want you to research these different niches. And I want you to research your different interests and hobbies and see how people are potentially making money with this. Now, the third step is that you need to start making content, but you need to keep it simple, stupid, or stupid simple. For me, with my firearms content, once I knew what the niche was, I immediately started making content, but I would try to keep the process as simple as possible, because when you create content, complexity kills everything. People blame their lack of time, or they blame their lack of gear or their lack of ability, but really The real problem is that the content creation process is just so overly complex and bloated that they subconsciously want to be able to avoid it. For instance, with my firearms channel, I am actually rarely shooting on that channel. I'm actually sitting here with this same setup. The reason why I do that is because if I only had to film every time I went out to the range, one, I'd probably only be able to film once or twice a month. But two, I would have to leave my family and I would have to pick up a bunch of stuff and I'd have to plan things ahead of time. It's much more simple to just sit down and talk and then potentially put B-roll over whatever it is that you're doing to be able to kind of like aid in the point that you're trying to make. People tend to think that every single video needs to be cinematic or perfectly edited or have like 10 layers of editing inside of the editing program. You need to only show B-roll on exactly what it is that you're doing, or you need to be sitting there doing it and talking into a mic and physically showing how things work. It actually doesn't, especially in the beginning, right? The goal early on is to be able to get reps. Okay, you have to get clear on your message. You have to figure out what people are actually going to want to watch or not watch. And so for the first few months, like you want to try to just aim for as much content as you can. Now, you're going to be like, Doug, this isn't like, how does this actually work? And what does this actually look like? So I'll give you an example, right? First, you have my firearms channel. Obviously, that is something that you can look at and say, okay, like you're talking about guns, but you're not even showing you're self out shooting and doing a bunch of stuff all the time. And I'm not, just because I don't have the time. Like this is my actual job, and working with Hayley on our business is my actual job. The firearms channel is more of just a hobby, but I still apply the same strategy. I want to keep it simple, stupid, or keep it stupid, simple. Again, I forget which way that goes. Another example of this is like one of our students, Rebecca Matznick. She does fitness content. Does she show herself working out all the time? No, she's actually just sitting there talking head. There's another guy that's in the fitness niche. I forget what his name is, but I'll put his channel up on the screen somewhere. He talks about having an aesthetic body, but he's sitting down talking with a microphone like this. Okay. He's keeping it very simple and then just showing B-roll where he needs to, because that makes the actual content publishing system faster and easier. So again, I'd probably aim for 2 to 3 videos a week if I could manage it, because you learn faster that way when you get more done. The only way you're going to get more done is if you keep your filming system simple. All right. And one of the things that I would really try to do is I would try to make those videos searchable. Okay. I would not do random lifestyle content. I would not do vague motivational stuff. I would create videos that are built around questions that people are already typing into YouTube, or there's something that we call golden nugget. Okay. You can find these things that are called golden nugget topics. And this is a term that Hayley coined. The videos are getting more views than the channel has subscribers, and the channel is a relatively small channel, and the video was posted recently within the last 3 to 6 months, or maybe even the last year. When you can do one of these two types of content, right? When you can do the very searchable content, which is like basically just looking at different types of problems that people are searching for, or you can find golden nugget topics, which is trending topics or things that the algorithm is currently pushing. By picking one of these two types of content, you give yourself a better chance at getting visibility early on. So the next thing that I would say you need to do is you need to start to build an email list way earlier than feels necessary. Now, this is going to be one of those boring business things that absolutely nobody gets excited about until they realize why it actually matters. Okay, your email list is the thing that you can actually own. Platforms change, algorithms change, reach changes. You can get demonetized in an instant. Ask me how I know. The mood of the internet changes every 6.5 minutes, right? It's like a Katy Perry song here. It's hot and cold, yes and no, literally all the time, 24/7, 365. But if somebody joins your email list, that relationship is a lot more stable. That is not hot and cold. I have seen firsthand how important that is. In the first years of Hayley's influencer business, things felt way more volatile because there was not enough owned attention. People loved Hayley and Mai's content when we vlog and when we would show our life and when we would talk about the things that we were doing, but we didn't have an owned audience, right? If a video did well, it was great. If it didn't, it was stressful. Why? Because we did not have a way to consistently connect with people that actually cared about our brand, which is an email list. So the email list changes all of that, right? Because now you have a direct line to people who care about what it is that you have to say. So even if I only had a tiny audience, even if I was just starting, you can actually go get on my email list now on my firearms channel by getting to go watch my masterclass, which is the similar masterclass to what I offer here. But you would still be getting onto my email list. And having a list is extremely important for building something that's actually going to work long term, right? We've had a lot of students that don't follow the process. They don't set up the email list. They have a banger of a video, and then they miss out on all those views, because those views, once they're seen, cool, some of them might subscribe, but a lot of them just drop off and never show up again. But we've also had another set of students that did follow the process properly. Ashley Bufa is one of them. She talks about homeschool. Field of Boaz is one of them also. She talks about how to be able to be a better mom and how to have a better household. Both of them set up their email lists from the very beginning. And what this did was that basically this was just a freebie that was related to the content that they create, something that was genuinely useful, and they started collecting emails early on. And what happened was, with both of them, after creating their email list, they collected a bunch of emails, and then a lot of those emails got put into their system, and they were able to leverage them in a launch that happened later on when they launched their product. The sooner you do it, the sooner you can stop depending entirely on the platform that decides whether your business is going to get seen or not, right? You don't have to worry about being monetized or not monetized, or you don't have to worry about whether a video is going to be an absolute banger or not. If you can build a trustworthy email list, then you can continue to push out your products week after week or for however long that you want to. Okay, so now that you started curating your email list, at some point, you need to start selling, because this is the real way to be able to make money on YouTube. You can go watch one of my other videos where I talk about the actual way to be able to monetize on a YouTube channel. It's cool that like my firearms channel got monetized through AdSense, but really what we should be doing is we should be finding something that we can actually sell. Now, you need to do this as soon as you can. If you feel like you're going to wait till you're like fully confident or whatever, you're going to wait forever. That's just how human nature is. We're always going to be scared to do something new. We're always going to be scared to try to do something that is different than what we're currently used to. Nobody will ever feel ready. People think that the fear will just go away once you have more subscribers or you have more content up or you have more credentials. But really what happens is you'll never take that step unless you just do it. I know it sounds weird and paradoxical. Like I don't have a true psychological answer. I'm not a psychiatrist to explain to you how to be able to make that jump, but you just have to do it. Okay. So what I do is I would create a very simple offer that's based on a real problem in your niche. It could be a guide, it could be a course, it could be coaching, it could be a membership, whatever makes sense for the audience and whatever makes sense for your lifestyle. Go back to step one. Don't forget, you have to be like, how much am I working? How am I working? What am I doing? This product has to align with that. Now, the point is here though, I would not want you to spend 6 months building some big giant masterpiece in secret, hoping that people want it. You need to validate this idea. You need to be able to get this offer in front of people. Okay, the moment that somebody pays you or the moment that somebody gives you $1, like the entire game changes and it's no longer theoretical anymore. But if you spend 8, 9, 10 months thinking about what you want to sell and then trying to put it together, you're going to burn out before you actually ever get to the point of launching. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to have some type of an offer, some type of solution to someone's problem in some format. And you need to basically sell it as soon as possible, even pre-sell it, which means selling it before it's even ready. This way, you can understand if the problem is real, if the demand is real, and if the business has actual legs to be able to stand on. As a dad with limited time, again, I homeschool, like digital products are going to be one of the best plays that there is. You don't have to worry about a physical product like we did when we sold products on Amazon. There's no inventory, there's no shipping, there's no storing your stuff in a garage. There's no weird logistics or weird tax use licenses that you need. You could build something that's useful once, improve it over time, and keep selling that one thing without requiring you to actually be in the room doing something every single second in order to be able to make money. Now, once you have something to actually try to sell, you need a system to actually sell it in. And this is what we would call a funnel. Now, before a lot of you guys freak out because of the term funnel, a funnel is just steps that somebody takes. Okay, if you go to my video and you're watching my video, you're on step 1 of the funnel. If you go down to my description and you click on the link to go watch my free training, that's the second step of the funnel. Once you go watch the free training and you're on a page to be able to take an action to book a call if you want to get some coaching or if you want to learn how the process works, that's the third step of the funnel. Funnels are very easy, okay? They're just steps on the internet. It's just a path. But the reason that this matters is because content alone is not a business strategy, okay? Content and views and videos, this is attention. This is marketing. A funnel is what takes the marketing, and then turns this into some type of an action. It gives your videos basically like an outcome, right? It gives it a job to do. So instead of just videos floating around on the internet hoping that something good happens, now the content points to a step that the viewer should be taking. This funnel, the way that the system should be set up, it's going to build trust. It's going to create interest. It's going to send the right people down the right process, down the right rabbit hole, so they can actually learn about what it is that you do, and you can generate leads and you can generate sales. It's a much better use of content than just trying to be popular and get ad revenue or compliments in the comments, but then you have no way to actually monetize that, right? So you need to create some type of a funnel or some type of an action. But if you have questions about that and questions about the technical side or the strategy side, leave them down in the comments below. Now, once you have a funnel that's set up, you basically have almost all of the pieces that you need to be able to potentially quit your 9-to-5, right? You should be trying to make some money. I want you to not try to build 6 different income streams at once. I don't want you to think that you have to fully jump off the deep end in order to be able to make this happen. I've seen too many people that try to do too many things at once, and they end up with like 6 or 7 half-built messes, and they don't know where they're going, and they haven't made any of the progress that they want to, and it feels like just a bunch of busy work, because it is. I want you to just get one thing working within your first 12 months. I want you to have one vision. I want you to have one niche. I want you to have one channel, one offer, and one funnel, and that's it. At least until you can try to be able to quit your job. That alone, if it works, is already most than what most people would ever build, like ever. So to wrap this up, if I had to replace my 9-to-5 income starting over today, this video basically just explained everything that I would do. None of this is a shortcut, you guys. Okay, I want to be very clear. This is not some like quit your job by next Thursday type of thing. Like, it's harder than people think. Okay, but it's not impossible, and it's not all fake. I just hope that that comes clear in this video. This is a real path that I believe actual normal people can take if they're willing to be patient and consistent and useful and want to actually help people, right? Honestly, I think that a lot of dads that are out there can do more than they actually realize. Dad, you guys have knowledge and experience and life lessons that you've learned. You have discipline. You're extremely hardworking. You have a reason to do this that's bigger than just ego. You have your kids. And all you guys need to know is that there's an actual model that makes sense, that is real. So if this is you, if you've been trying and waiting to be able to do something and you're like, I need to take action. And I know how freaking lame that sounds, okay? But if you do, let me know what your questions are down in the comments. And again, I have a free training. It's a masterclass that you can go watch that explains how all of this works in detail. But again, leave comments down below. I read all of them. If this was helpful, if you liked the video, be sure to like it. If you want to know more about how this works and you don't want to miss a thing, be sure to subscribe. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.